yesterday, a legal expert on one of the other networks said that maybe this judge would give Donald Trump something like an ankle monitor, or they would confine him to Trump Tower so he could appear in court 4 days a week, and then he's got to be at home in Trump Tower. Does something that extreme take place here?
I mean, we can't predict what the New York courts might want to do. I mean, this is very hostile to President Trump. That's what we know, is that this is about as hostile territory for any conservative to be in, whether it's the DA's court, whether it's Letitia James' court, the state court. But here's the deal. He does have the Secret Service. It's hard to imagine him actually being incarcerated in a prison. So now they're throwing out these other ideas that they could somehow put him under house arrest for violating a gag order. Gag orders, which, by the way, I believe are completely unconstitutional when you look at the words he's used. And people don't like it because he talks tough. But nothing that he said doesn't actually make sense. It's not like he's talking about the judge's daughter randomly. He's talking about her because she gets paid by Adam Schiff, who brought an impeachment against Donald Trump. I mean, so when you make money off Adam Schiff and your dad's the judge who can put Donald Trump in jail and at least lead the jury that way, then suddenly maybe that's worth the American people knowing about if you're the defendant.
And can you just comment on the Matt Colangelo situation again? I mean, they value him so much that he delivered the opening statement on Monday. So this guy's the lead horse in the Trump prosecution here. He was the number 3 at the DOJ, and he's a young guy. There he is right there. So if you're the number 3 at Merrick Garland's Department of Justice, you've got a bright future. Who in their right mind? Don't tell me work-life balance, he wanted to spend more time with family. Who in their right mind would take the career step down to become a run-of-the-mill prosecutor in a place like Lower Manhattan? Who would ever do that? Most people start their careers at the DA's office and then go into private practice or go to some place like the DOJ. Again, he was the number 3 highest-ranking official there, and you're telling me he did this because he just wants to work in Lower Manhattan?
No, he got recruited. He got recruited, Rob, to say, hey, we think we've got the fastest track case to put Donald Trump behind bars, at least find him guilty. We'll figure all that stuff out later. Do you want to be the guy who presents the case, who can then go forward to the American people, who said, I'm the one who made sure Donald Trump was found guilty as a criminal? Do you want to take that on? And I think they found their guy at the number 3 in that department of the Department of Justice. And it does, Rob, I think it ties right back to the idea here that it's impossible for the Biden team to say there's no connection to the former DOJ. I mean, these guys are all connected. And they do this regularly in these high-profile cases. They all start moving around to different offices to bring them in so you have the best of the best to try to take down people in these high-profile cases. That's exactly why he's there, to be famous, and also because he wants to be the guy who puts Donald Trump behind bars. And if he is, what's the next step for him as a Democrat? Probably Attorney General.
That's interesting. So you think that Matt Colangelo's a hired gun on behalf of the Biden-Bragg team? And do you think there's a chance after this case he goes back to the DOJ?
Certainly could. Certainly could. Could go into private practice. Maybe you write a book. You go on a book tour. I mean, who knows? I think depending on the outcome of the election, we'll see. I mean, it could be a judicial nominee. There's all these different routes they can take from the DOJ that they've done. And if he can get a case like this, and again, it's a risk for him too. I mean, he could go down, if he loses this case ultimately, which I do think he will as it's appealed through the courts, it's a big risk too.
You know, I started my career in a tiny little market, Bakersfield, California, something like media market number 135. That would be like me right now. And by the way, I absolutely loved Bakersfield, so nothing against Bakersfield. But the goal was always to get to a place like Newsmax. So that would be like me leaving Newsmax today to go back to Bakersfield. What this guy, Matt Colangelo, just did to prosecute this case.